The title of this podcast is How Does Your 1.0 Affect Your Life? This was inspired by me reflecting on something that I've been asked to do here recently in my work in the joy and well-being space. And that is to help groups that are never happy. No matter what happens, even when they get what they want, it's never enough. They're always complaining. They always see the negative. Most recently, with my employer, it's been announced that we're going to get a 6% raise. And there are people out there, and this has never happened before. It's unprecedented to get this large a raise. And there are people out there who are saying that it's not enough. Even when you get what you want, you find a way to complain about it. And this is something that I'm aware in myself. So I'm not judging the behavior. I can relate to it. I have compassion for it. That all the things that I said I wanted, that when I got them, I found a way to make a problem of it. And a great example is we've had over the last few years a staffing shortage. So when new people are hired, how do we treat them? Do we welcome them in and say, hey, listen, I am personally going to take it upon myself to help you, adapt to this new climate, this new culture, and help you really understand, how we go about things here and our day-to-day duties and why we do them this way. So feel free to ask me any questions. And along the way, I encourage you to teach me things that I don't know that you may have learned somewhere else that could really help us do things here more effectively. No, that's not what 1.0 does. 1.0 comes in as as someone that is a grievance looking for a cause. You're looking to make a problem of situations, this negativity. I heard it best in a movie that I was watching. And this guy was describing his mother who was pretty negative. And he said, my mother had a gift. She could find a cloud in every silver lining. And that was me. I would go places and there would be so much good going on around me, but I was blind to it. I'd find a way to be dissatisfied with it, and it needed to be changed or improved. That's how I showed up all the time. The inability to be able to see the good in situations can become habit forming. And that approach to life over time becomes how you show up all the time if you're living at 1.0. So when you see people sometimes in their older age, and you're like, man, how did they get this like negative and crotchety and yelling and screaming at the world? Like, turn that music down. What is this music? And ranting on about politics or what their children are doing or wearing. Like, how did that come? In most cases, oh, that didn't happen overnight. No. That behavior was repeated over and over and over again until they became someone that they wouldn't even recognize if they could go back in time. They couldn't recognize themselves. And I was headed down that track. Anytime someone said something to me that I disagreed with, I become defensive. I want to explain all those things. Eckhart Tolle has taught me, don't defend, don't explain. When you do that from a defensive position, what you do is you spoil the moment, the present moment. I'm done consciously spoiling present moments. I'm not doing it. So over time, that little resistance or that negativity, the way we show up again, it becomes how we show up all the time. And we do it over and over again. It's unconscious. Somehow, again, we forget to see all this goodness in the world. I guarantee you, If you would take space when you are upset and heated, when you feel wronged or betrayed, but take space and say to yourself, I'm going to take a moment here. And don't just take a moment. That's the first step. But take a moment and say, I'm going to work on seeing the good here. And when you do, there'll be so much good there. I remember clients would come in and I would have this attitude about like how they should be showing up, you know, whether it's 10 minutes early or they should be showing up a certain way and whatever. And then they come in and let's say they're late. And I'd automatically start to see like these elevator doors start to close and there's no keeping them open. And that would be my heart closing to them, forgetting all the time that they're paying a fee to support my business. They're coming to me to help partner with them on their goals. And I'm going to treat them this way. A patient comes in and they got a million questions, or in your mind, they're not being compliant. Or a coworker comes in and they ask you the same questions over and over again, and you are annoyed with it. Okay, your mind will start to automatically over time, if you keep being annoyed by those things, keep being someone as a 1.0 who can't handle them doing those things, that will start to become your dominant way of showing up. And it won't leave any room to see the good in those situations. And so you really have to be mindful. You have to be conscious that when someone is being their 1.0 self, that you're choosing to be rooted in 2.0, because you will definitely save yourself. And if they're open to it, you can help save them too. And there have been some folks in my life that when I was sliding in the pool of 1.0 was so strong that they extended a hand to me and they helped me up. My friend John DeCuna, man, we're starting to spend some time together, and it is just beautiful how he continues to pull me up, lift me up, and things like that. Brian Chong does all the time, and Matt Ockman. I get to see these guys on a regular basis, and it's because I get to see them on a regular basis, which we're intentional about. It helps, you know, me not be pulled down by my 1.0 because it's still there. It's never not there. Sometimes it's dormant, but anything can bring it alive. Eckhart Tolle tells a story about the cat who falls asleep at the mouse hole in a room, and he tells a story how there could be all kinds of things that are going on in that house. You know, the doorbell rings, the cat doesn't lift, both eyes stay closed. A glass drops and breaks on the kitchen floor, eyes stay closed. You know, someone's yelling or there's loud music, cat doesn't move. Let that mouse come to that hole and one eye opens. Just like that. And that's the ego. It could be just calm. You're like, oh my God, I'm in this great space. I feel good. Like, let the peace continue. And then all of a sudden, something happens. It triggers something in you, and that 1.0 eye opens, or both eyes open. And next thing you know, you're being pulled in. Fortunately, my friends have laid a hand on my shoulder and it's like, settle down. There's nothing to fear here. There's nothing wrong here. And then I come back to 2.0. So again, I ask you, how does your 1.0 show up? And what are you doing about it? And it's a full-time job, not a hard job. It's just a job that takes commitment, but incredibly rewarding. If you ask people about what are some of the things that they love most about their life experience, and they say, it's being a parent. Is being a parent easy? From what I hear, it is not. One of the hardest jobs you'll do. Is it worth it? Is it rewarding? It was like, sign me up. Otherwise, why would you have more than one child? Right? Because it's been a rewarding experience. So the same here. Is working on a practice easy? Some days it's more challenging than others. Is it worth it? Absolutely. To have inner peace? Are you kidding me? Yes. To be turned on by everything? 100%. So it's worth it. So keep working on your 1.0.